Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we are diving straight into something huge, something so many of us feel.
Yeah.
Anxiety.
Yeah.
But look, we're not just going to talk about the feeling. We're digging into it as almost a mechanism, neurologically, culturally,
Yeah.
like a pattern the brain falls into.
A predictable pattern, yeah.
And our mission, really, is to figure out how to consciously swap that pattern out for something else, for like creativity and calm.
It's such an important discussion. I mean, our sources are clear. We're living in what some people are calling the age of unbelievable anxiety.
Right.
You just have to look around culturally. Think about Bo Burnham's special, Inside. He nailed that sort of systemic slow burn dread. He called it that funny feeling.
Yeah, that resonates. And the numbers behind it, well, they aren't funny at all. The increase has been, frankly, explosive.
Yeah.
Back in 2022, the New York Times called adolescent anxiety the inner pandemic.
They didn't mince words. And COVID, well, that was like pouring gasoline on the fire globally. Anxiety disorders just shot up by 25% in that first year alone. We're talking 374 million people affected. And even by 2023, with the immediate crisis easing, fully 50% of young adults 18 to 24 were still reporting symptoms. It's now the most common mental health challenge on the planet.
So understanding how to navigate that, maybe even rewire things a bit.
Yeah.
That's the focus today.
Exactly. By understanding the brain's wiring.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. We need to pull apart true, actual fear from this chronic anxiety thing. Our sources say real fear is, well, it's biological. It's a gift. You mentioned that experience at Lundalozi, the game reserve, hearing a leopard call nearby.
Oh, yeah. That's pure fear. Unfiltered.
Right.
Gavin de Becker, the violence prevention expert, he calls it the gift of fear. And it's a gift because of how it works, you see. It hits you hard, makes you act, now run, hide, fight, whatever's needed.
Gets you out of danger.
Precisely. And then this is the crucial bit. Once the danger's gone, poof, it vanishes instantly. It's designed like a cannon shot, huge burst of energy, then it's over.
The contrast is amazing. Like the wildebeest example. It escapes the lion. Lion's maybe still there. But the wildebeest, it just goes back to grazing. Its nervous system resets. Fear is now.
Exactly right. Present tense. Now, anxiety, that's different. It's like being haunted, you know? It drags your attention inwards into all these worries, these what-ifs, these future scenarios.
Away from what's actually happening right now.
Completely away from your physical safety in the present. And unlike fear, anxiety doesn't suggest any useful action. And it never relents. It can hang around, even get worse, when you're perfectly safe sitting on your own couch.
And this persistence, this mechanism, that's what the source material calls the core problem, the anxiety spiral. We live in a world that really values, talking things through, analyzing logic. That strengthens our left brain hemisphere, which is great for reasoning, for problem solving.
Fantastic for that. But that heavy reliance on the left brain, that analytical voice, that's what sets the trap. It creates this unregulated feedback loop. The sources describe it like a tire ripper on a parking lot exit. It lets your brain speed forward into more and more anxiety, but it kind of lacks the built-in mechanism to easily back down into relaxation. It's a one-way street, neurologically speaking.
Because we're smart, right? We have language, imagination. We can keep that fear feeling going indefinitely, even if there's no actual lion at the door.
Exactly. The left brain hears the initial alarm, the amygdala screaming, that yop, and it immediately does two things. First, it cooks up explanations for why you should be scared. Justifications. And second, it devises these elaborate control tactics to try and manage the perceived threat.
And those justifications, those stories we tell ourselves, they can get pretty wild, even absurd sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. Which brings us back to your friend Jennifer in that Londolozi cottage again.
Right. Okay, so she wakes up, sees a leopard, outside, eating an impala. Real danger, but it's outside the screen door. She's inside.
But her left brain kicks in immediately. What will save me? Analyze.
And her analysis led her to believe, what was it? Her leopard print pajamas.
Yep. She reasoned the leopard might see her as a rival because of the pajamas. Flawless left brain logic in a way.
So her control strategy
was to wrap herself in a beige blanket and pretend to be a termite mound.
Inside a screened building. That sounds funny, but it's such a perfect illustration. The left brain, desperate to control the fear, generates these really bizarre, often useless strategies, even when the person is fundamentally safe.
And that impulse gets amplified by something innate, sort of a design flaw in us. the negativity bias.
Oh, yes.
Neurologists talk about this hair-trigger tendency we have to spot and latch onto danger or perceived danger.
Like getting 3 compliments and 1 tiny criticism.
And what do you focus on? The criticism. Or, 1,000 likes online and 1 comment saying, bid death. Where does your mind go?
Straight to the bad.
Right.
So the bias fuels the left brain's need to justify the fear it's already feeling.
And once that loop starts spinning, well, that's when we get into what one source calls the Hall of Mirrors.
Okay, unpack that. The Hall of Mirrors.
It's a really potent image. It describes anxiety as this kind of delusional state, an imbalanced way of thinking. Yeah. The left hemisphere basically locks onto its anxiety story as the only reality. It filters out anything that contradicts the story.
Filters out reality, essentially.
In a way, yes. The sources use this, frankly, terrifying example from Oliver Sacks, a patient with severe right hemisphere damage.
Oh, I remember this.
He woke up screaming that someone had put a severed leg in his bed, an alien leg.
But it was.
It was his own left leg. His left brain had literally lost the ability to even perceive or acknowledge his own limb because that information wasn't being processed correctly due to the right side damage. It's like extreme attention blindness.
Wow.
And here's the kicker, where the brain science gets really counterintuitive. The left brain defends its constructed reality, its fear story, so fiercely that research actually shows if you try to challenge that anxious or delusional belief with straight facts, with evidence, the belief often gets stronger.
Wait, stronger? Why? Why wouldn't logic just cut through it?
Because the anxious left brain doesn't see the facts as truth. It sees them as an attack on its survival strategy. It thinks, you're trying to make me lower my guard. So it doubles down on the fear narrative. It has to be protected, which just cements the spiral.
That explains a lot about why people resist information sometimes. Okay, so if that's the individual mechanism, the next piece is how this whole thing goes viral, essentially, because anxiety is contagious.
It absolutely is. Our own internal spirals don't just stay inside our heads. They leak out. They replicate in society.
How so?
While our individual anxiety contributes to a kind of collective unease that raises the general stress level, which then increases social pressure and this perceived need for more control, which, guess what? Makes individuals more anxious. It's a huge social feedback loop.
You see it everywhere, don't you? Parents trying to control every tiny detail of school curricula, or the way political groups get so polarized, frantically trying to control what others think or do.
Getting louder and more extreme as their own collective anxiety ramps up. It all leads to these, frankly, illogical control strategies becoming normalized, even institutionalized.
Like the post-9/11 airport security thing. Confiscating. What was the example? An eyelash curler.
An eyelash curler. Utterly harmless. It's bizarre on the surface, but the illogical rule serves a purpose. It reinforces the underlying anxious idea that we can never really be safe, so we must always be hypervigilant and exercise maximum control, even when it makes no sense. Feeling safe requires never feeling safe.
Okay, this is feeling a bit bleak, but let's shift gears, because the good news is we're not just stuck in this spiral forever. We're not fixed.
Not at all.
And this is maybe the most profound idea from the sources.
Yeah.
You can't just stop anxiety. You have to replace it.
That's the core insight, and it's grounded in solid science. Neuroplasticity.
Right, the brain can change.
Exactly. We can toss out that old damaging idea that our brains are set in stone by age 5 or whatever. New imaging shows our gray matter is constantly remodeling itself based on where we focus our attention. That's where the hope really lies.
The sources had that incredible study on Tibetan monks, didn't they?
Yeah.
Years and years of meditation.
Yeah, neurologists found they'd actually developed unusually dense brain tissue in areas linked to happiness, calm, compassion.
Sense tissue, like physically changed.
Physically changed. And get this, the effect was so pronounced in one particular monk, the scientists initially thought their equipment was broken.
No way.
Yes. And this superhero of calm, he'd spent his entire childhood battling crippling anxiety and panic attacks.
Wow. So it proves change is possible, deep change.
It proves intentional practice can literally reshape the brain away from that anxious default.
So the path forward involves intentionally shifting away from that analytical, spiraling left brain and engaging the right hemisphere more deliberately. There was that stunning account from Jill Bull-Taylor, the neuroanatomist who had a stroke.
A massive stroke, yeah. It basically knocked out much of her left hemisphere.
And suddenly?
Suddenly, she lost language, logic, her sense of linear time, gone. But the trade-off, absolutely extraordinary. She simultaneously lost all anxiety, all fear.
What did she feel instead?
With the left brain offline, she described experiencing herself as just a field of energy, connected to everything. She used words like silent euphoria, awe, connection, no anxiety whatsoever.
And she made that key distinction, didn't she, between happiness and joy.
Crucial distinction. She said the left hemisphere gives us happiness, which depends on external things going well, getting the promotion, winning the lottery.
Conditions being right.
Exactly. But the right hemisphere provides joy, which bubbles up from within regardless of circumstances. And that joy, that internal state, that's the fuel for what the sources call the creativity spiral.
The opposite of the anxiety spiral.
The mirror image. Think about it. Danger's gone, the leopard walks away. The right amygdala doesn't just stay on high alert, it shifts. It picks up curiosity.
Curiosity instead of fear.
Curiosity, wonder, fascination, that's the starting point. See, the left brain analyzes it, wants to cut things apart, label them, judge them. The right brain synthesizes. It puts things together, it harmonizes, blends, sees connections, uses all the incoming data.
To create something new.
To create. And that process, that state of flow and fascination, it naturally crowds out the anxiety spiral. It pushes it into silence.
Okay, so how do we actually do that? In our normal, busy, often stressful lives, the sources break it down into 3 phases, right? Calming the creature.
Activating the creative.
And commingling with the creation.
Yeah.
But we can start right now with some practical skills to force that right brain shift.
Absolutely. The first skill is designed specifically to help you step out of your anxiety spiral right now, in the moment.
Oh.
By grounding yourself completely in the present moment using your senses. Remember, anxiety is all about stories, usually scary stories about the future. We need to yank the mind out of the story and into physical reality.
Okay, makes sense. Like forcing a reset.
Exactly. The goal is to consciously assemble an internal positive experience using your physical senses. It's the direct opposite of constructing those fear fantasies. A powerful reversal.
So what's the exercise?
You deliberately list and then vividly imagine, say, 3 things you absolutely love to taste, 3 things you love to hear, 3 things you love to see, 3 smells, 3 physical feelings.
Got it. Taste, hear, see, smell, feel. 3 loaves for each.
Then you weave them together, combine them into a brief scenario, and this is key, describe it in the present tense.
Present tense. Like it's happening now. Can you give an example?
Sure. Like, I am sipping cool champagne. Taste.
Yeah.
I am listening to my cat purring on my lap here. I am feeling the deep warmth of a really good foot massage. Feel. The scent of pine and rain is drifting through the window.
Smell.
And I can see the amazing colors of the sunset. See? You put it all together right now.
I can almost feel that.
But here's the crucial bit. Your highly trained verbal left brain might immediately try to shut this down by telling you, oh, that's just fake. That's just something you dreamed up. It's not real. Our culture trains us to invalidate inner experience like that.
Right, because it's not objective.
Exactly. But you have to consciously remind yourself that anxious worldview you're trying to escape, that's also constructed. It's built entirely from selected information specifically, information filtered through the negativity bias. You're just choosing to construct a different, more beneficial reality in this moment.
Trading one construction for another. Okay, I like that framing.
Right.
What's the second skill?
The second one is called object appreciation. It's another technique to use your senses, your body really, to anchor your nervous system and engage the whole mind.
Object appreciation. How does it work?
Find a quiet space, a sanctuary if you can, and find a small object that feels positive to you. Could be anything simple, comforting, meaningful, a smooth stone, a favorite mug, whatever.
Okay.
And here's a specific instruction. Use your left hand to hold it, to manipulate it.
The left hand specifically. Why?
Good question. Because using your non-dominant hand, for most people the left hand, to physically explore an object intensely activates proprioception.
Proprioception. That's like your body's sense of itself in space.
Exactly. Tells you where your limbs are, how you're moving, forcing the brain out of its usual verbal loops and into this direct physical bodily awareness is incredibly powerful for engaging the whole brain, especially that right hemisphere we want to activate.
So hold the object in the left hand. Then what?
Then engage all 5 senses really deliberately. Feel its weight, heft it, examine its texture, its shape, maybe scratch it gently, listen to the sound it makes, sniff it, does it have a scent? Maybe even, if appropriate, touch it to your tongue briefly to taste it. Feel its temperature.
Really immerse yourself in the physical reality of it.
Totally. And then go a bit deeper. Contemplate it. Think about how it was made. Think about how it serves you, what it means to you.
That old super soft t-shirt that just says breathe, that you always wear when you feel stressed.
Perfect example. Or maybe it's an old book, like, I don't know, Plumbing for Dummies, that genuinely changed your life because it made you feel capable.
Huh.
Focusing all your senses, plus that layer of appreciation on something tangible and present. It just stops the anxiety spiral cold. It pulls you straight into the right brain's synthesizing, connecting, present moment way of being.
That feels very doable, very concrete.
It is. Look, as long as we have human brains, we're probably always going to have that quick draw, danger alarm, that negativity bias. We can't just surgically remove the creature, so to
Yeah.
speak. But what we can do is learn to recognize when it's going off track. We can learn to hit the brakes, deploy our whole beautiful mind, and stop healthy fear from spiraling out of control into chronic anxiety.
And the result of practicing this, of activating that creativity spiral more often.
It's profound. It leads to states of flow, genuine curiosity, inventiveness. It brings the sense of like exhilarating engagement with life. It makes everything you do feel like a contribution to your biggest, most important artwork, your own life, creating your own experience.
That's a powerful way to think about it.
But it's important to add one final thought from the sources. Living this way, beyond anxiety. It's a gentle art, yes, but in our current world, it's also kind of countercultural.
Countercultural. How so?
It takes real grit,
Yeah.
real courage to follow your own sense of calm, your own originality, especially when people around you might still be caught in their own anxiety spirals.
Because they might not get it.
They might genuinely find your peace, your creativity, your compassion simply incomprehensible. They might wonder why you're not worried sick like they are.
So it takes strength to choose calm when the culture pushes anxiety.
It really does.
Okay. So maybe the question we leave everyone with today is this. What's one small, maybe even slightly courageous step you can take right now to start becoming an artist of your own calm?
A great question to ponder. Join us next time for another deep dive.
We'll meet you there.